Foreplay presented by Barstool Sports. Welcome back, second show of the year, 2022. Per usual, we have a lot to get to. It is just myself, Frankie, and Trent. Lurch is, I actually saw Lurch last night. Lurch is dressing up in costumes and shit for Axon, which I actually crashed the Axon little party last night because a bunch of our buddies are there. Josh, Lurch, Shore, a bunch of people that we know. So I went down in there. Very funny story of our guy Lurch, who and it's tough that he's not here, but this is kind of what we do. I got this from Frankie, where we just talk shit about him because he's not here. It's very nice. He can't defend himself, but we're hanging out. It's a culinary dropout, which is a great little spot here in Scottsdale, and Axon rented out the whole place for their sales teams and all that. And me and Josh are hanging out. We're hanging with Lurch. Lurch kind of disappears for a second. Look over, and there's this big buffet line, and it's got all the different maybe 10 of those things with the lids on them where you reach. So Lurch is walking lid by lid, just lifting each lid, just seeing what's in there all by himself. Isner looks over, points at him. Lurch sees that we see him and is like, fuck you guys, whatever, and disappears. Well, 5 minutes later, he pops up just sitting at a table by himself, just housing food. And I got a great picture of him, and he came running over all rattled. You motherfuckers, the only people I was hoping not to see was you guys. So Lurch is not here right now. He's clearly doing Axon stuff, work stuff all week long. But another point to that whole thing is that I will be getting tased tomorrow morning.
What?
Really?
Yeah, they were talking about it last night, and they were like, dude, since we're all in town and you're here, you should get tased. And I was like, well, what's that really entail? And they were just like, we've all done it. That's a big thing at Axon. Everybody just gets tased. For 5 seconds, it really hurts and you can't move anything, and then you're just fine after that. And I was like, fuck it, I'll do it.
Wow.
And you're just getting tased to get tased.
There's going to be footage, so I imagine, it could be a good little video. I guess in my mind, I'm justifying it as content. I don't know. But they kind of just talked me into it at the bar last night. And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll go get tased.
I don't know if that's going to be fun. That'll be definitely interesting. It's going to be a life moment, just getting tased to get tased. Smitty got tased in the office once by Ebony, and it almost sent him into a shock where he had to go to the hospital.
Right, so there's two different types of tasing, if I'm correct, where there's the up-close one where they jab you with it, and then there's the one where they shoot you with the little is which one are you getting?
I think it's the shoot.
Bro, they do that in The Hangover, and Zach Galifianakis takes one in the fucking face, dude.
So I believe that the MO, the kind of what to expect is they hit you with it for about 5 seconds. It really hurts. You lose control of everything. I mean everything. But they do it in a controlled environment, I think, where a couple people catch you. Maybe you're on a mat. This guy was explaining it to me last night, who is the head of training and ops, and I will say he had a very maniacal smile on his face the whole time that he was describing what he's going to do to me. And I was like, he's confident that it works, but he's not confident that I'm going to enjoy it. And he just, at the end of the night, gave me one of those taps on the shoulder and a laugh and I'll see you Thursday morning, Riggsy. And I was like, all right, I don't really know.
I wouldn't be so much worried about the pain as I would be worried about my tase face. I'd be worried about what my body and what my face looks like when it happens. It was, guitars. When they're really going at a solo or a riff, they kind of get a crazy look on their face. I feel like it's similar when you get tased. I think you have no control over what's happening, and you could really just. I don't know. I can't wait to see the footage. I want to say that.
Yeah, I'm definitely worried about that. If we're being honest, I think they said they have a super slow-mo camera that's going to film the entire thing, and then they'll capture it on phones as well. So I just said, fuck it. It's 5 seconds. 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's over.
All right, but 5 seconds for that, but videos and pictures last forever. What if you shit your pants?
I think that does happen to people.
Yeah.
Or your heart just stops beating.
That's the other thing. I would never get tased because I have a heart condition, and I'm pretty sure if I got tased, my heart would just explode and I'd die.
100% your heart would explode. Your heart hates you.
Yeah.
Well, I don't feel good about that.
I want you to do it, but I wouldn't call you a pussy if you backed out of it. I'll say that.
Look, if there's one thing I learned in the last 4 months, I should back out of stuff. That's fine.
Yeah.
Probably better.
I don't want to ruin the thing though, because Axon. The other thing is you're not getting anything out of it really. I know we're talking about the content side of it, but Axon, I get it's a rite of passage or something.
Initiation.
A little bit. I don't know if I wanted to use that word, but if it's like,
well, they were all wearing like costumes last night. I think I saw a picture of Lurch wearing a Batman costume, Spider-Man, and Josh was wearing a Buzz Lightyear costume. So there's some sort of cult going on where it's an initiation.
Well, that's the other thing.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I love Lurch, and Axon seems like a great company. We obviously love Isner, but Lurch in my life is a constant reminder why I got out of that life. Because I kind of know what's going on. I see glimpses of it. And again, Isner seems like he runs his ship. It seems pretty cool. But like the whole corporate thing is just not for me personally. And I know Lurch loves it. He's always circle back, put a pin in this, whatever. But like Lurch being a constant presence in my life is also a constant reminder of why I got out of that life. And I'm actually grateful to him for that.
Yeah, I see that as well. I 100% agree. When those pictures come through, I know that they all think it's going to be funny, but it's a little bit depressing on our end of just like, ugh, like we don't want to be a part of that. And we do. I feel a little bit of a tie to Axon. We know, there's a little bit of cross pollination with Lurch and with Josh and with a bunch of our friends in the Dad Bod Classic. So yeah, I just got kind of caught up in the hype. They told me it was 5 seconds. They've all done it. They survived. I did ask. I said, what is like 1 in 100 people die from this thing, or how's that work? And they're like, no. It's like way, way lower than that. And I was like, but you're telling me it's not like zero? Ever? And they didn't really give me an answer. I don't think that happens. And Axon Taser's done stuff with us before, with Foreplay, with the Dave Portnoy show. So yeah, I kind of got caught up in the hoopla. I figured it's 5 seconds. There could be a cool video from it. If the video is really, really bad, I think I'm in control of it. So I will just, although I don't trust like Josh, I think Josh would make sure it gets out there.
Totally.
Yeah.
I might
Frankie,
have to do something where I have full control of it.
I would not do it. I'd just choose not to.
Okay.
Right? Unless Dave Portnoy was tasing me, I'm not doing anything. Like if Dave Portnoy said, you were 2 minutes late to the office, I have to tase you in the forehead right now, I would say, give it to me.
Yeah.
Shoot me with a real gun if you want to. At this point, it doesn't matter. But if Josh Isner is trying to tase me, see you later.
I couldn't really come up with many big time negatives was my thing.
I guess so. I don't know.
Yeah. And you had a few soda pops at this point, I'd imagine?
No, I went down, I had one beer and I went to sleep.
I wonder if there is is there any sort of machismo tied to it where everybody's talking about it like, we've all done it. Why don't you do it? It's sort of that deal, which, that could happen.
What's that term?
I'm vulnerable to that.
What's
machismo? It's like meatheads. It's like macho.
Machismo? It's the first time I've ever heard that word in my life.
Really?
Oh yeah. First time anyone's ever used it in my presence. Machismo?
Let me just quickly
Come on, bro. Come
Rick
on,
knows
dude.
what I'm talking about.
A machismo? How do you even spell that?
I have no idea how you would spell it.
It's machismo. It's a strong or aggressive masculine pride.
It's a great word.
That was happening last night. This is basically direct machismo decision.
Dude, I've never heard that.
I can't believe that.
No one's ever used machismo in my presence. That's a fact.
I need you to work it in sometime this week.
I
Not
will.
on the podcast, but maybe in casual conversation.
I'll absolutely use that.
Okay.
Shopify. Foreplay is brought to you today by Shopify. Shopify gives entrepreneurs the resources once reserved for big business. So upstarts, startups, established businesses alike can sell everywhere, synchronize online, in-person sales, and effortlessly stay informed. Scaling your business, obviously a journey of endless possibility. Believe me, podcast started out, I think the first thing we sold was like Ryder Cup t-shirts a long time ago. And then just Trent and myself, we had to sneak away and do the podcast. We weren't allowed to do it in a way that it would get in the way of us writing blogs. We got basically crucified for doing golf videos, and we were called and deemed the Boondoggle Boys forever. So we understand that getting something started, starting your own kind of business, your own branch of stuff, being self-reliant on the financial front is very difficult. Shopify powers millions of businesses from first sale to full scale. Let me say it again. From first sale to full scale.
Woo!
Full scale. You guys like that one?
Yeah. I do like that.
Mm-hmm. First sale to full scale.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of a tough one. More than a store, Shopify grows with you. This is Possibility powered by Shopify. So go to shopify.com/Fore. That's all lowercase for a free 14-day trial and get full access to Shopify's entire suite of features. Grow your business with Shopify today. Go to shopify.com/Fore right now. That is shopify.com/Fore. You can get a free 14-day trial and get full access to Shopify's entire suite of features. I feel like Shopify does a great job.
They do. And I believe the first shirt we ever sold, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Riggs, was the American Guys Patrick Reed Jordan Spieth shirt.
I think that's right, where they had the winter hats on. They were dominating over in Europe somewhere. I think it was on the road.
Yes. I remember. I believe it was on the tail of a horrifying Dave Portnoy email where he yelled at us.
That's right. Yeah,
I don't remember what it was about. I don't remember what it was about. Something about the Ryder Cup, but I remember all caps and a lot of exclamation points. And I remember being scared.
I believe that the incident, the time the shirts went out, was 2016, which was at Medina. I think that was at Medina when the U.S. won, and that was like Reed when Reed took down Rory, and all that was going crazy on Sunday. And the picture of that shirt was from the 2 years prior when the two of them had the winter hats on and the USA sweaters on with just the flag. Remember when they did that with the USA sweaters? It just had the American flag in the front. Those were awesome. So that was the shirt, and it just said American Guys. The incident was, I believe it was like midway through the Rory versus Patrick Reed match, and Patrick Reed was making bombs and shushing crowds and going just nuts. And Dave hit us up and was like, hey guys, anything going on in the Ryder Cup, was the first paragraph. And then the second paragraph was all caps, wake the fuck up.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. He slow played it. I remember that now. Yeah. Now it's all coming back to me. Really, unfortunately, that I'm having this memory again. But yeah, he slow played it at first, kind of like, hey, anything going on in the Ryder Cup? And then just full dragon breath just burned us alive. And we put out shirts. We were hoping to make it work that way.
And those are the moments where you really do feel like just turning the lights off is better than dealing with what you're dealing with right there. Right? You're staring at that email and you say, nope, don't want to deal with this ever again. I mean, a Dave Portnoy email like that is straight out of the scariest horror film you could possibly think of.
Your body gets really hot. Oh, really hot.
They should put you with all those things, all those little stickers, and they should put you inside like an MRI.
Yeah.
And they should analyze your brain every time someone gets one of those emails from Dave or text. And that was my life for like 5 or 6 years, where each time you get that ding, the ding in the text just sounded different, even though it wasn't. You knew. I'd be in the shower on like a Saturday, getting ready for my day, and all of a sudden I'd hear a ding in the room outside the shower in my bed, and I said, well, that's Dave for sure. That's Dave for sure. And I'd run out all wet, be puddles all in the hallway in my room, and I'd look at it, it's a Dave Portnoy. I said, now how the fuck did I know that? And then it'd be like, how come we did this yesterday? Are you going to fix that or something? You know what I mean? And I'd just be like hot again. Wouldn't even have to dry off. I'd instantly be dry. So it'd just be the weirdest things happen to my body.
Yeah. No, I think we've all been there, and it's a tough spot. That I'm picturing that ding like a church bell, like boom, and you're just like, well, now I got to go deal with that.
Dude, I had this extra sense of knowing when that ding was his. And I think that's pretty similar probably to most people that have bosses, right? I mean, you work in any sort of environment where you have a boss, especially like a high-powered boss like Dave Portnoy, where he's going to let you know how he's thinking, and he goes 100 miles an hour at all times.
Yeah.
And pushes you to try and be the best that you could possibly be. You're going to be in the crosshairs sometimes, and you're also going to be on high alert at all times. If you're not on high alert with your boss, then what are you doing? Then you're just, I don't know.
Right.
You have no emotions.
And the other side of all that is what you just said, where you get way better at your job. Like having that coming out the other side of that, you're just like, all right, now I know what to do. Riggs and I were like, all right, now we know what to do. And we sold a bunch of those shirts, and then we continue to do the podcast. We continue to do the videos, and you just like keep rolling along. As hot as your body gets and as mentally straining as it can be, you come out the other side. Like, that's what this company is built on, essentially.
And you largely do it, and you come out the other way, the way you're describing, because you just want to ensure that you now do everything professionally to avoid ever having that sensation or feeling ever again. And I would say on my phone, you know, when I really check my phone, the only thing on earth I'm checking for is to make sure there's not a text message from Dave Portnoy. That's really it. And I had a story last year. I think it was last year. And I had a girlfriend at the time, was dating this girl, and it was always kind of getting in trouble or just not being fully there because I'm on my phone a lot, checking social media with him. So we went out to dinner. I said, during this dinner, okay, I'm going to just not look at my phone at all. I'm gonna put it in my pocket, turn it on the silent mode. Let's engage with one another. Let's enjoy the food. Let's just be immersed in each other's company. It's gonna be great. I remember about 45 minutes in, I said, now there's something that's happening right now. I don't know what the fuck it is, but I have to. It was like I was Ari Gold in the synagogue scene. It's like, I have to check this phone right now. Sure enough, I had a text message for the first time in 2 months from Dave Portnoy. That was just like, He needed some shit from me, and it was like 8 p.m. on a fucking Wednesday. And I said, now I have to leave this dinner. This dinner is over. We are not talking anymore. I will fucking talk to you tomorrow. My life is now over for the next 24 hours, and thank God I checked that thing. So you're right. I think everybody does have a spidey sense when it comes to a boss. You have to. Otherwise, you can't survive.
And how amazing must it feel to be the boss, to send out that feeling? You know what I mean?
I don't know. I don't know about that.
There's a lot that comes with it. You have to become the boss. You have to be the person that is able to be the boss. But I'm saying that one feeling of being able to affect people on that level. It's like when you send a text message, you're sending out stomach cancer or something. You know what I mean? It's the power there is enormous.
But I would imagine in their position, they're just like, there's so much going on for them that they're not even thinking about what that's doing. They're like, I just need it done. I don't even know. You know what I mean?
Totally. Oh, absolutely. I'm just saying any boss on the planet, the Jordan Belforts of the world, like all these people in these movies, these high-powered bosses that have gotten to the top.
Bezos.
Elon Musk, Bezos. When you get a text message from Jeff Bezos, imagine what happens in some manager's brain at Amazon when they get a text from Mr. Bezos. Are you kidding me? From Jeffrey? Oh my God. When there's billions of dollars on the line. Oh my God. Dude.
Yeah. That gives me the I can't even sit here.
And,
I feel like I just
you know Elon's just the meanest texter on the planet because he has no social skills whatsoever. He wants it done the Elon's way. He has a higher way of thinking. No one thinks like Elon Musk. He has his own brain, and no one else will even come close to it. If you're not on that level, which you're not able to, he's probably angry. So you're probably never able to make Elon Musk happy.
There is a boss mentality, it seems like, of just they've withered away when they communicate with subordinates. Any like typical social BS, all of that, they just weed it out and they just go direct, and that makes it even worse because it's like there's no BSing, there's no way of sugarcoating. They just hit you right in the fucking heart with it, and it just stings, man. It's like,
well, you know what's good and different about Dave is that the meaner or harder he is on you, the more he actually likes you. That means he's more comfortable with you. It means that he would if he's able to yell at you, he's also able to bring you out to dinner on one of the trips and like hang out with you and gamble with you and do all the things. I think the difference between that and most bosses is that when other boss is very mean to a person, they want to be mean to them because it's their power struggle. They want to be able to like hold power over somebody and just like beat someone down. Like I'm sure like my buddy Rob like just gets beaten down by his boss who just doesn't give him the time of day. Won't give him any attaboys, but there's no dinner after that. There's no hanging out. It's just go home, be miserable. You suck. I'm good. I'm big. You're small. I'm right. You're wrong. And Dave couldn't be the more opposite of that. So when you are in the crosshairs of Dave Portnoy, it means that on the other side of that, there is light on the other side of the tunnel.
That's true.
Definitely.
It's almost like you strive to get yelled at by him, because it means that you are in a position of being important enough for him to care, and then that is a great spot to be in. Look at like Jeff D. Lowe was screamed at and given, I think, a countdown. If he didn't get into his office or on the radio show within 5 seconds or 5 minutes, he was fired, left out he says, "Do not come back. You're done."
That was after the great Duncan Awards.
After the Duncan Awards. He got absolutely shat on, and then Jeff D. Lowe went on to make like 4 different new shows, has like the coolest, him and Ken Jack have the coolest podcast about movies, and they're just doing great, and they're doing fantastic. And now Dave likes Jeff D. Lowe, goes on a show all the time that does, and it's great. You know what I mean? Like, he went from almost being fired and not even talked about to now he is the guy.
But I don't know that means you want to be getting yelled at by Dave.
I think you do. I think there's a weird part of your brain that's like, give it to me.
No, I think weird part of your brain is like, give it. I don't know.
There's people at Barstool that want to be in the position to get yelled at.
Yeah, you want to be in the position to get yelled at, but you don't want to actually get yelled at.
No, if you know that it comes with being yelled at, then you take it. You take it. You absolutely take it. There's people that are just skating by that they don't have any conversation with them whatsoever, and you'd rather the conversation be, "What are you doing? I'm mad at you. I hate you," because that means that he's caring about you.
There's people that do really well that aren't getting yelled at. Like Big Cat's not getting yelled at by Dave Portnoy all the time.
No, but Dave would yell at Big Cat more because he's so much more comfortable. I'm telling you that he would absolutely scream at him if he had to, and
he would, but he doesn't. I'm still saying you don't want to be getting yelled at by Dave. Is what I'm saying. You want to be in a position where Dave's comfortable to yell at you, but you still don't want to be getting yelled at.
We're sort of right. We're middle of the road there in terms of that. Like, he is comfortable yelling at us, and boy, he will. Like, you know. So, but again, I agree with Frankie. He's right. Like, the more comfortable he is, the more he'll do it, and then you go out the other side, you go out to dinner, and it's great. He really is a great boss, honestly, in that regard. I know we're talking a lot about it right now, but he is.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. You would rather have that where it's like direct and honest than all, any kind of weird, vague, confusing bullshit. You don't want that.
You guys mentioned, or Frankie mentioned the movie podcast. I watched Don't Look Up finally, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
I thought it was really funny.
Good.
I thought Leo was great. Leo is just the best always, and Jennifer Lawrence is the love of my life. Hard not to like her. Jonah Hill was funny. I thought the whole thing was great. Really good. I'm glad I watched it. You guys had me worried. You guys had me thinking that at the end I was going to be super depressed, which I kind of was. But it's also like, it's a funny movie.
Well, it's also absolutely what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Maybe not in our lifetime, but it's just a little depressing that that's absolutely what's going to happen. That ending and just the animation and the CGI and knowing that that's what's going to happen to this planet is horrifying.
Yeah.
I didn't need to see someone spend all those millions of dollars to recreate. Like, I would have been fine living my life not seeing that visual. Sure, we think about what's going to happen if the sun explodes. They're saying the sun will explode at some point. That's the most horrifying thing ever. At some point,
I think you got 10 billion years.
Right, but at some point it will. So that feeling of saying this all will be gone is horrifying. And then seeing it. You hear about all these things. Asteroids are going to hit the Earth. This is what would happen. All these tidal waves and all those things. Someone putting in the time, effort, millions of dollars to recreate it, didn't need that. I didn't need that. I don't need to have a visual.
When they're having their dinner at the end and they just get like brutally wiped away, that was tough. I didn't need to see that.
I thought the scariest character in that whole movie was the billionaire, sort of based off Elon Musk. All those guys. I'm scared of those guys. I've been making fun of Elon Musk for years, just because I think it's funny and because he makes sort of weird decisions because he is so like his own brain. But he is like the scariest guy on the planet to me in that regard because of exactly what that character is like in that movie. Because they're like that. A guy super smart like that will see something, and even if like he'll compute something that won't have the greater good in mind, but if it has some sort of benefit over here, he'll just do that, and that's very scary to me.
And then they're always right until they're extremely wrong, just like that guy, and then it's over for everyone. You put all of your trust and all of your money and all of the power into this one guy who has this amazing idea, and then you hope that it's right, and then when it's not, it's over.
He heads to the back.
I love Elon Musk.
You do.
That guy's fucking great. Yeah.
I understand his greatness for sure. He's the smartest dude in the world. He's the richest dude in the world. he comes up with ideas that nobody else even thinks of. But being that smart, I think there's an element of danger there.
Have we talked about this James Webb Telescope on here yet? I'm not going to get into the whole space thing. I won't get crazy. I know we have to talk about golf. We're going to do some predictions. We're going to get into the whole thing. I can't wrap my brain around this James Webb Telescope. Do you guys know anything about it?
No,
I know nothing about it.
$10 billion project. I'm going right off the top of the head here. This is all the knowledge that I've tried to take in. I'm trying to absorb it. I'm trying to relay it here on this massive podcast to all these hundreds of thousands of people. James Webb Telescope. It's been in the works for, 30 years. Some people say it is the most advanced piece of technology we as humans, mankind, have ever released into the earth. It took all of this work and all of this research to figure out how to get this telescope into orbit 1 million miles away from Earth, so the Hubble telescope is like so far, however far away from Earth. This is going to go even more further away from Earth into this ridiculous orbit zone.
I was going to say, I grew up and the Hubble telescope was our satellite king. That thing was, people were raving about that thing.
So, dude, the things that the Hubble telescope are able to see are enormous. But the fact that we are now going to be going to 1 million miles away, and the things that had to happen for the James Webb Telescope to deploy and get ready. Dude, it gets ready in space, right? So you send it out in this like module or whatever, and then 375 movements have to happen over a month. So each day, movements happen. You have to watch these simulations, guys. These solar panels come flying out. All of these layers start to move up. It's all of these ridiculously large sizes of these like aluminum solar panels or whatever the fuck the thing is. And they're the sizes of tennis courts. Like, you think that it's like this little thing. They're sizes of tennis courts. Each panel are slowly moving out. You know how many things could go wrong when it's in fucking space? And the benefit of this telescope is that we are going to be able to see literally the beginning of time. It's going to go so far and have such a reach with what it's going to be able to see that it's going to be able to see the very first stars, which we've never been able to see before. And they actually said they do not know what they're going to see. It's so advanced and so incredible, such an incredible piece of technology that they're not sure what to see. Then there was a story that broke that they got like 14 theologists into NASA in the coming months, in the leading months up to the launch, to talk about how are they going to break it to the world when they find something that they, number one, can't comprehend, and number two, like if they find life, which they do think they're going to find. It has an infrared sensor or infrared technology where if there's LED lights on a distant planet or galaxy, it will be able to detect it. So like if there's a Tokyo or a New York City on another planet, you will see the infrared light coming off of the LED light coming off of that piece of planet.
How the fuck can they do that?
Right.
How in the fuck can anyone do that?
I'm just letting you know what's going on up there. I don't know how it got to that point. I do know
I'm not saying they can't. I'm just saying, I can't. We talked last show, dude. I can't cook grilled cheese. It's like the furthest sophistication I got. And these motherfuckers, they could infrared light on planets and stars from 14 billion years ago. Like, what are we talking about?
Right,
What?
dude. This coffee table that this laptop and this microphone are sitting on, I put this together. I bought it off Amazon, and every time I move it around a little bit, a piece falls off, and I'm just waiting for it to collapse onto itself. And that is the level of sophistication that I have. The fact that these guys are, these scientists or whoever they are building something that then builds itself in space is a hard thing to wrap my head around.
It's just building itself. It's building itself. And if one thing goes, so I was talking with Hubs about this. He wrote a great blog on Barstool Sports about it. It is actually the craziest thing that humans have ever done. The European Space Agency combined with us to get in on this. The technology is, it's $10 billion. So if one thing goes wrong while it's building itself, done. It's over. It's $10 billion just explodes in fucking space and we never see it again.
But it's gone well. I was just looking while you gave me your little monologue about it. It looks like it went well.
Yeah, so the hardest part, the 5-layer sun reflector thing, has officially been put into place. It was the hardest part. 75%, as we're speaking right now, 75% of this telescope is intact and it's on its way. You can go to James Webb Telescope.com and NASA, whatever, and you'll see the actual you'll see its route and where it's at, and they'll also show you a little simulation of what it's about to do that day, and then they go live each day and talk about it at NASA. So, dude,
look, where is Webb? This is like one of the links on the site. Where is Webb?
Bro, it's so exciting.
Oh, there he is.
The day that it starts shooting back information, this world could change, and they are pretty prepared for that, which no one's talking about. It's almost like don't look up. They're prepared for something to be seen on this fucking telescope within the next 10, 15 years for us not to be able to handle. So we all need to be prepared for that.
This also goes to show that I just have too much news in my life that this has not come across my desk yet. You're talking about it like and I believe you that it's the biggest thing that's going to happen. They're sending back data, could be aliens, could be a sign of life. There could be a Tokyo 25 million miles away or whatever. And I'm just sitting here. This is all new information to me. Haven't seen a word about it on my feed. So I'm probably following the wrong people, or there's just too much else going on out there that I just haven't seen it.
It's a sad world we live in. We're living in a horrible world right now where a lot of things are happening, and media sucks on every side, every channel, no matter who you fucking follow, whatever. The fact that we're all not going to Times Square and like cheering when this thing hit orbit and going crazy that humans, mankind, sent something 1 million miles into space to go look at the beginning of time. Are we using our brains right now? We're talking about whatever we're talking about right now. Is Joe Biden, whatever, is Donald Trump, whatever. Who gives a fuck? We've got something in space that these dudes in like Houston made, and they're flying this thing 1 million miles into space, and they're going to see the beginning of time.
Yeah, but like somebody could also argue, like, what's that going to do for me? People would be like, what's that?
And
what's that
also,
going to do for me?
And also,
I don't know.
What's it going to do for you when they shoot that info back and there's nada? There's nothing out there. It's fun and exciting to think that there's another civilization that we're going to find wherever this thing is headed. The other side of that is like, what if it's just a dark screen and you're just like, all right, so we'll just keep looking.
Right. What if they find like 100 million like Mars and everyone's just like, all right.
I think that's just as interesting. I think that's another piece of information. You're like, wow, there's really nothing out there at all. I think that's just as interesting. I think that's just as groundbreaking.
That's not just as interesting as finding fucking aliens out there. Another Tokyo. Are you kidding?
If you're in as deep as I am with space, you know there's something out there. So if you were to tell me that there's literally nothing out there and we're just the only somehow lucky people to just be on this blue planet and we're just floating around space and we're the only ones in this vast, endless vast of fucking space. If you're telling me I'm the only little speck of life, that would be almost as groundbreakingly breaking news as telling me that there's a bunch of people playing beach volleyball in a Tokyo city 1 billion miles away. I think that would be just as breaking news that we're the only fucking psychopaths floating through space that we can just go. I can go lick my asshole if I fucking take a rib out of my chest.
The problem is not that. The problem is that this thing can't tell you that there's nothing. They can just find nothing for a really, 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 really long time.
Right. That's
what I was like. I've combed everything. There's nothing there. It's over. Like. They could just constantly send back stuff that like Neil deGrasse Tyson is like, this is super interesting, but you show to an average person and they're like, whatever. I
well, the big thing is that they're going to see. They're going to every what's the word I'm looking for? Every and I said we weren't going to talk about space, but every single what the fuck is the word? When it's not a fact, it's a theory. Every theory about how the world started or how the galaxy started has all been based off of what we've been able to see so far, the data that we have so far with the Hubble telescope and all this stuff. And now that we're going to be so much further, all of that's going to be rewritten. That's not crazy interesting to you guys. Like the stuff that has been theories is now going to be put to the test. All of these theories about Big Bang and how stars are born and like where we came from, that's all going to be like put to the test because now they're going to get actual finite information that they didn't think was once possible.
Yeah, but Riggs is right. You led with, we're going to find another Tokyo. And that's
well, they have the technology to do that.
And Riggs is also right in that the information that is largely going to come back, I would imagine, is something that Neil deGrasse Tyson is going to be super giddy about. And it's going to be big words that I don't understand what the fuck's going on.
So the only thing that you're gonna get perked up for is if they find aliens. If they tell you this is how the world started, you wouldn't get up for that. You're not.
Don't they already know how the world started?
But it's based off of all. It's based off all theories, right? They haven't gotten that far yet. It's like if this is true from how far we can see, it must then be true based on the facts that we have. Further on from space. Now they're going further on from space to see if that is then true. It's like confirming all of these theories.
But it's a little bit like if somebody confirms that like the molecules that they thought came together made this countertop that I'm doing the podcast. So I don't give a fuck. Just give me a countertop. Like it's you know what I'm saying?
True.
We want Tokyo. Me and Riggs want Tokyo.
Yeah, that's right. You can't,
we want
look.
space
You can't
Tokyo.
lead with Tokyo and then give us like nothingness. That's just we're going backwards.
I hope they find it.
Well, and also, the more, like, if the information does come back and there is no Tokyo that we find yet, like, we're dealing in a space where these things take time, and if they don't find it in the next couple missions, like, next thing you know, we're 100 years in the future, we're gone, and we never saw anything.
That's what sucks, and that's why I'm so hungry to find something. I want one little piece of information that's going to change my life. I want it. I'm hungry.
I want to tell you, Frankie, I overall agree this is extremely exciting. I just want to prepare you for if they send back some shit that's not really that hyped. I don't want you to get slandered on the internet. I don't want, me and Trent to be really depressed because you promised us Tokyo and we got a new molecule or something. I don't want any of that, so I'm just trying to prepare for that. But
okay.
I didn't know a lot about this telescope. I'm going to read the shit about this fucking thing. As I saw it, the name of it on Twitter that we did it successfully, but I thought that could be a new fucking cell phone tower up there. I didn't know.
Yeah, no, not enough people
do this shit all the time.
Not enough people are talking about it.
Look, if they find other, like they can clearly just prove all of a sudden that there's just other civilizations out there. A, that's awesome, but B, I'd be a little bit worried. Like, wasn't Hawking always like, do not send messages out there? Like, yeah. We find out there's a good chance that if let's say we're 10,000 years advanced, what if they're 2 billion years advanced? Like, look how far we've come in the last 100 years. Now you're telling me there's a civilization out there that has been doing what we've been doing for 100 years? They've been doing that for, let's say, 2 billion years. Like,
that's horrifying.
They're going to see our fucking big solar thing that took 350, perfect thing. And they're going to be like, oh, we're going to go eat these people. That's a good idea.
The thing that, yeah, I agree. And it's amazing how much you can advance in those years, right? I think, who was it? Galileo or whatever, Nostradamus, all those guys. Galileo, I think, was the first one with the telescope, right? Who was the first person with the telescope?
Galileo.
Galileo was what, 430 years ago, 415 years ago, maybe?
Galileo died in 1642.
Holy fuck.
Pretty good there.
Pretty good.
Pretty fucking good.
Pretty good.
So 415, whatever, 400 years ago. And now think about, he was looking out at this, whatever that was, little piece of plastic telescope. And now, 400 years later, we have a thing orbiting 1 million miles away from Earth. Think about not that much time. When you think about time, when you think about how long time has been around, 400 years is the tip of my pinky.
It's nothing.
I
watched a video on YouTube the other day that I thought was interesting where it's talking about what we were talking about, where when the chances that we find another civilization that is at the same technological advancements that we are is incredibly slim. The likelihood that we have been going at the same pace is incredibly unlikely. So that leaves us with the chances that either A, they are super duper 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 far advanced than us, or B, they are not nearly as far advanced as we are, and we are running the risk if we run into A, they're going to have way more than we have, and they're going to be able to defeat us if it comes to that, or we go to B where we discover, they haven't figured out the iPhone, they haven't figured out the advancements that we have. So that's the risk you run. You either run into A or you run into B. And if you want to risk that as a human species, which I think that we do, it sure seems that way, you're hoping that you run into B.
I will say an impending alien war would be thrilling. I mean, I know it would suck and we're really, really likely to just get annihilated. But imagine the build up to that. Like, the aliens are coming for us. Like,
oh, we'd be so fucked.
we're about to have a legitimate war with fucking aliens from another planet because we sent Webb up into the sky in 2021. I mean, that would be...
Or we run into B in this scenario and they've got sticks and they're like, ah! And we have nukes. So it could go either way.
It's the multiverse thing where, you could still have the same type of world, but there's different decisions going on in each one. Like at each point, the superior people on that planet made different decisions than our superior people. Our Elon Musks are working on battery operated cars. Their Elon Musks are working on changing their eyeballs to lasers. You know what I mean? There's something that's different in each universe, which is what I think. And there's no way it's the same thing. We just happen to follow our path. They follow their path. There's no way they're similar. Their path is absolutely, if they've been around for longer, way more advanced than ours. There's no sticks. And also, who's to say that there's sticks in another universe? Who's to say that there's any of this in other universes? Maybe the humans are particles or something. You know what I mean? You don't know what that thing is.
No,
God,
but
my brain's gonna fucking explode.
I know. And whenever you picture a scenario like this, everyone thinks, because it's more fun or more interesting to think about it, them being far more advanced than us. But like I'm saying, it could go the other way. It really could.
They could be microscopic,
right.
Really. I mean, that's like there's.
Right. Who's
we
to
were
say
just
they have
microscopic at one point?
Who's to say they have eyes, a nose, ears, and they like to jerk their cock off to fucking porn? You know what I mean? Like you have no idea that they're human beings. They could be, they could be anything.
Yeah.
Even air to us is our thing. You know what I mean? Even oxygen to us is our thing. We don't even know if that.
Our atmosphere is very much our atmosphere. It's very specific.
Light.
But haven't they done a lot of the same theories about what they're trying to confirm with the origins of the universe? Aren't all those same calculations and theories and everything agreeing that water is the center point to what life, that there's no based on physics and chemistry and everything they've looked at, that you just got to have water to have life, and water breeds a certain type of life.
See, that could be factually correct, maybe, but I would say that is factually correct towards life as we know it. Our life, but in our galaxy, life needs water.
Right? But their theory is that the known universe, which they're not going to be able to see beyond the known universe, the universe is everything, is governed by the laws of physics that are not just because you go to a different solar system, based on all the way those planets interact with one another, they interact with dust clouds, the comets and meteorites that come from there. All of this is based on the same laws of physics from everything they've been able to see. So unless you go outside of this universe, which is not possible, I don't think that Webb could just go outside of the universe. Based on everything that they've come up with, it has to be, or their best guess, and again, it's just a guess, is that life is based on water and oxygen, and if you don't have that, you can't have life. That's
that makes
what
me feel
I've
better.
Read. That's what I've read. And therefore, even though shit could be crazy different, it most likely is from a life standpoint, that it needs to be somewhat relevant because it's based on the same shit that all the life here is based on, even though there's billions of different species and shit.
Right. They're always looking for water. That's the number one thing they're always looking for.
That makes me feel a lot better. And I know there's gonna be a Facebook thread. He said he wasn't gonna talk about space today, and I'm here for my golf fix. Can't they talk about a cool story in golf and find a golfer that's trying to make the tour? Well, listen, this is some crazy shit that's happening in our fucking world, and we gotta talk about it. And speaking of technology, we also gotta talk about the stealth driver. Video just came out on YouTube. The advancements in technology in the golf world are psychotic.
What a pivot.
The advancements in technology in the golf world are psychotic. I don't think I've ever laughed harder at a foreplay video than I did yesterday's video. I don't know why. I was watching it with my dad, and we were watching on the TV, and I couldn't believe we put that video out. I couldn't believe TaylorMade allowed us to put that video out. The first 10 minutes, if you want to talk about trying to show off a golf club, right? You're look at this amazing new driver. Look how great it is. Look at all these amazing bombs, right? We didn't get a ball in the air for 8 to 10 minutes. Trent never hit a ball in the air. I couldn't get a ball in the air for 8 minutes. I needed a shaft rechange. I needed a degree change. I needed all these loft problems. I needed to put a new grip on my... if you want to talk about trying to sell a golf club, that had to be the worst video ever made for a company until we ended up hitting it well. But I laughed so hard because that's us. That is us. We get invited to this thing, this amazing TaylorMade Media Day. All the people from TaylorMade are so jacked up. Look at this new golf club. The club's amazing. It's incredible. Tiger Woods uses it. And
Tiger Woods put it in play and outdrove JT.
It's amazing.
He has half of a right leg.
Bro, go back and watch that video and watch the first couple shots. They're like, all right, Trent, let's see it. He misses the golf ball. He misses the golf ball. It barely gets off the tee, the tee area. It is so funny.
Yeah, I mean, it is very funny. I would argue that makes TaylorMade the smartest company in the world because they got the really DJs, they got the Tigers, they got all these great guys who are striping this fucking thing, and it's a beautiful driver. And then they've got us, the regular guys, who, it's going to take a little bit. You can't just put a new club in my hand and immediately think I'm going to be hitting beautiful shots. So it's a nice mix, I think.
Dude, I was the first one to hit, and, he gave a whole presentation. He said, a lot of people think we've been working on golf clubs for a year since we've been working on this golf club for 20 years. We said, wow. And then he said, this is the first carbon wood. There was the new age with titanium. That age is out. The carbon wood age is in. And we said, wow. And then he took the fucking club head cover off the top of that puppy, and it looked like Darth Vader, the stealth, the red and the black, like he's arriving at the Death Star. We said, wow. I said, all right, Riggs, take that first swing. Let's hit it. And I just snap hooked one left out of the driving range. Well, that was a moment where I wanted to deliver for the engineers and this massive company that works so hard on this club and all the marketing schemes. I wanted to say, man, it's impossible to hit a bad shot with this thing. Nope. First one, just over the top, closed club face, violent hook left. And I said, wow, it felt really good. And then you're right. We eventually started to hit them really well. You pick up ball speed with the club. They're going through all the science about how all the guys that they tested without changing anything else picked up ball speed, 5-10 mile an hour ball speed they were picking up, a.k.a. hitting the ball significantly further. So the stealth is amazing. It's just when you put us out there, it's inevitable that we are going to hit bad golf shots. It's in our DNA. It's what we do.
Dude, it was so funny. But yes, we did end up finally crushing balls. I mean, I got up to a 307. At first, I couldn't get the ball in the air, and then I hit one 300.7 yards with all this crazy spin rate, and it was awesome. The club feels amazing. The Stealth is an amazing piece of technology. The fact that it took them 20 years to build, to be able to figure out how to make a carbon-faced driver, be able to withstand all of that striking and all of the wear and tear of the drivers that a amateur golfer puts on it is amazing. When you think about how soft carbon is, like if you think about like carbon hoods of a car, when you see all those like awesome looking cars, they say like, oh, if this thing gets in a car accident, it's done, right? Like it's made out of nothing. It's so light, it's so soft, it's so flexible, and the fact that you're able to, I mean, a Bryson DeChambeau type swing is going to be able to crush golf balls, and it's going to be fine. It's going to be strong enough. It's going to withstand all of that pressure. It's amazing, the technology behind it. Isn't there like, what's the number? There's like a blank
60 layers,
60 layers of carbon there. It's nuts, man. And the ability to be able to change it from a draw to a fade to straight is awesome with the weight distribution. And I saw some people with some thoughts about the red face. Honestly, maybe on video or pictures, it looks a little bit different than what you're used to, because it is a little bit different than what you're used to. When you see it in person, and definitely when you like match it, dude, I had that red shaft going into the red face.
Yeah,
it is such a conversation piece where you're like, what fucking driver is that, man? And at the end of the day, aren't they always trying to just make drivers like that, where you get to just gloat and show off how cool your new driver is, your new piece of equipment, your new gift, your new toy? I think they nailed it, man. It's such a wow factor. And when you see it in person, it's so much better than pictures and on video. I'm telling you, addressing the ball, you feel like it's been supercharged by fire. Like you're about to play some Crash Bandicoot episode and you're about to hit a ball a billion miles away.
I couldn't agree more. I could not possibly agree more. It is weird. I saw a few people commenting that too, because when they first put that puppy in our hands, not one of us thought anything about the aesthetic or the color other than this thing does look like it's from outer space, and it's came from the aliens that have been sophisticated for 2 billion years and created something within all the confines and the rules and regulations of golf that we're able to use, and it just hits the ball further. It's an incredibly empowering feeling when you grab that Stealth. We fucking loved it. And then everyone that we filmed with, we talked to off camera, from Rory to DJ to Sergio to Matt Wolf, like every one of them. We're like, yeah, what do you, that was kind of the classic like water cooler talk throughout the whole trip when we were down there filming with these guys. It was like, oh yeah, what do you guys get to hit the new driver yet? Yeah, what do you think? And every one of them raved about it. So clearly TaylorMade has figured it out. This Stealth thing, ours are coming. So we had a funny one. We were like when we were leaving, if this is like right before Thanksgiving, and there's an embargo on the information, and they don't want it to get out before they want to announce it and all that stuff. And here us goons are with like this incredibly secretive piece of technology that TaylorMade's been working on for 2 decades. And we're like, oh yeah, we can just kind of leave with these, right? And a couple people were like, what? Sure, whatever. So we put them in our bag, about ready to leave. And then somebody who actually knew came flying over on a golf cart, was like, you guys cannot leave the property with those drivers. We're not letting Rory McIlroy go home with his driver, let alone you guys, whatever. So we are now going to get ours in the next day or two, and actually get to hit them outside of just a couple days that we had in Florida. And I am as giddy about that and having that item, that weapon in my household on my person than I've been about any piece of golf technology, I think, ever in my life.
And also, at the end of the day, if you're watching that video being like, these fucking guys don't deserve these drivers, they can't even hit them. Number one, you know how nerve-wracking it is to hit a driver in front of the person that made it? I mean,
what a terrifying thing to have to do.
You guys get, when you're listening to this, you men and women that are listening to this fucking podcast right now, whenever you have a first tee shot or you have to hit a drive in front of people, unless you're the top 1% of golfers on the planet, even the top 1% of the golfers on the planet still get nervous, but your average just weekend hack, there's no worse feeling than having to put a ball in the air in front of your buddies, in front of a stranger, in front of your boss. Maybe you have to go out there and impress a client. Like, you have all of this pressure to hit that ball up in the air. And now imagine these people, this group called TaylorMade has invited you out there to come test their brand new 20-year driver that they built. The man who was behind us built it. He invented it. It was his. It's his baby. And he goes, yeah, test it out, man. And I just dummy marked the bottom of it. Didn't even hit the face. Just dribbled it off. That is the most relatable, obvious swing of all time. What was I going to do? What was Frankie Borelli going to do? Drive a perfect draw 295 carry? Like, yeah, it works, man. Like, no, man, we have to work it out. We have to see if it works for us. That's the beauty of TaylorMade. They have a lot of different drivers. The Sim 2, now the new Stealth. Like, you find out what works for you. This happens to be the best driver they've ever come out with. We're going to try it out. We're going to use it. If you've watched the video, if you've seen everything on social, go try it out. What you're going to see is a huge club face that you've never seen before, and you're going to fall in love with it. They were able to make it bigger because it's lighter. And that right there is going to blow your mind. And you're going to see with me in the video, it takes a lot of changes because it is a bigger club face. It is fatter. There's a lot of differences between that and the Sim. So maybe you need to change some stuff. Maybe you need to get a new shaft. Maybe you need to go lighter. Maybe you need a new degree.
It is a big endorsement for getting fitted, because like your shaft. Yeah. And the degree, like, that matters for your golf swing an enormous amount. Like, all of us, we were they went in, they built these drivers based on the specs from when we got tested a year ago. Our swings change every 18 holes, let alone every day, every week over the course of a year. So the same shaft that was like perfect or the best shaft for like my swing a year ago when we got tested, it's different, like different spin rate. You're coming in a different, angle of attack. And so, they tweak that, and then all of a sudden, same swing, you're not changing anything on your physical person or the way that you swing the club, yet it's the same club head, different shaft, different tweak on the loft, and all of a sudden you're just roping them. Frankie's hit him 300 yards. That shit matters. People should get fitted, and they should get fitted for TaylorMade clubs, clearly, because it works. It just fucking works.
I saw a lot of people in the chat saying, oh, we're not as lucky to be able to get fitted, and I think if you look in the right places, you will be able to get some sort of fitting, whether it's not the official TaylorMade fitting at the Kingdom. Obviously, we're very spoiled with that. I don't take that for granted one day. It's amazing that we get to do that. But you go to a Golf Galaxy or PGA Superstore or any of these places, they will help. There's more than qualified people there to help you figure out your numbers. They have TrackMans there. They have the simulators there. You're able to get a fitting and attach that to the price of your clubs, and it's worth it. Whatever it ends up being, however you need to do it, it is worth the price. It is worth the time put in. Some places will do it for free. I'm telling you right now, you have to do it, because if I would have gotten that first Stealth off the rack, I would have never hit a fairway for the rest of my life. I would have just kept hitting dribbles down to the right. And that's nothing negative about the driver. That's nothing negative about the club face. It's all about, it just wasn't built for me. I just couldn't do it. It was too stiff. It was too long. Everything was wrong. So you have to be able to figure it out.
If you bought like ice skates off the rack, no idea what size they are, no idea what if they mold defeat, whatever. They could be any size. Imagine if you go out there and you're a size fucking 11 and all of a sudden you have size 15 skates and like they didn't get, like, you just wouldn't even be able to stand up, even though they're the best technology in the world. Like, so in terms of like size and molding them to like your feet, that's what the golf and the fitting and all that is. And you're not everybody has the resources, get it. But if you're playing golf and you're spending $500, $600, $700 on a driver, and you're spending $50 a round, $100 a round, and playing 20, 30, 50 rounds a year, then that extra $100 or wherever it is for you to get fitted and therefore make you hit your driver that much better throughout the year is an unquestionably great value. It's not even close when you spread it out over how much you're going to spend playing golf. Golf's already expensive, get that. But man, getting that driver fit, having it, the correct everything in terms of the partnering it with the shaft and the loft and the line, what you need, how much loft you should get, 9 degree or 10.5 degree or whatever in your driver. That shit's going to matter, and it's going to matter the way that you drive the ball. Like, I played the best golf of my life this summer, and it wasn't even close. I don't think that's like coincidence that we got fitted for the best clubs in the world and that TaylorMade dialed us in. So that was the most fun I've ever had playing golf. I think people should do that and want that if they're playing. It's already, most likely it's expensive. You spend a good amount of money on golf. I think that extra $100, couple $100 fee to get fitted for everything to be perfect is worth it.
Dude, wait until the people. I don't know if it's already been put out there. I'm sure it has somewhere, but those stealth irons also.
Ooh.
We're gonna put out a video with that, which is actually
I think I have to use those. I think
it's pretty mind blowing,
too.
guys. Like, that's a mind blowing video. We use right now the P770s and the P790s. Trent and I use the 790s. Riggs uses the 770s. It is mind blowing. Fuck, what was I gonna say? Like, it's not the challenge. It was the
we just did like a. What would you say that
we
like
did?
A
experiment?
Basically.
Would it be an experiment?
Yeah,
it was a kind of an experiment we did to see how much better Riggs would be with and Lurch and Trent. They didn't have lefties, of course. That's just a lefty fucking buy it. People are just
you're. I think you've talked about it on the pod, but you are a nuisance when we go to these TaylorMade Media Days because I think you're the only lefty on property.
I was the only lefty at TaylorMade Media Day. That's including all the professional golfers that were there. They had to build me the set. They had to build me a driver and all of that stuff. It's horrifying. They should have rallies and all these things out in New York City because of lefties being completely ostracized in the communities, because we're not thought about ever. You go to a fucking
You're not represented well.
You go to a fucking pro shop. And you ask for a right-handed glove, they look at you like you're the dumbest person on the planet. They're like, why would we carry a glove that goes on your right hand? Like, what are you talking about? It's a nightmare. So when we have that video coming out, it is mind-blowing how important it is to really find the right cavity back or the right type of muscle back iron that you're going to want to use. We all want to use the butter knife looking amazing, stainless steel, shines when you take it out of the bag. It looks like the best golf club that Tiger Woods would use. It looks like a blade. Man, when you look at the data, I mean, dude, not to spoil the video, but Riggs was, I would say, 10 to 15 times better with the stealth irons trying to hit greens. It was phenomenal, the difference.
Yeah, so the thing was, we were at a par 3 where we were filming, and it was like 155 yards into the wind, water short of the green. And it was like, all right, we're going to put you on TrackMan, and we're just going to see the result, just the physical, actual result. Hit 3 shots with your current, irons, whatever you would hit in there, and then hit 3 shots with the stealth irons. And I ended up hitting 6 with each, and I believe I went 5 for 6 greens of regulation with the stealth iron. And I was using a club less, so I was using like an 8 iron instead of a 7 iron. And then with mine, I think I went 1 out of 6.
Yeah, it was.
So it's just like,
It was eye-opening.
It was eye-opening.
Dude, Lurch hit a 230-yard 4-iron, I think.
Yeah, with the stealth. Yeah.
With the stealth. So, yeah, it's really cool what they're doing. This technology is insane. The stealth irons look awesome, too. They're definitely getting them to look a little bit more appealing. Those very forgiving golf clubs. The 790s are also, and the 770s are the best irons we've ever hit. So, at some point, it is one of those things where if you want to get fit, you want to see what you can do. Like, there's definitely a benefit to sticking with the 790s and 770s just because, number one, they look unbelievable. Number two, when you are hitting them right, there's no better feeling on the planet. It's just
cool to have options. It's just great to have options.
The stealth, man. Like Trent was like, I'm using the stealth going forward.
Oh,
like
the
stealth
90. The stealth irons are going in my bag. I love the 790s. They serve me well. Broke 100 with them. We made a lot of good videos with them. Had a lot of fun with them. The stealths are going right in my bag because I hit them. I hit them just like Riggs did, and it just the difference is it's just for my. I don't even know. Like I don't know if the skill level is the thing or what it is, but like just with those, I was more comfortable. I was hitting it further. I was hitting it more consistently, and that's what for a guy like me, that's what I need, and that's what the stealth irons provide. So if that's what they're going to give me, they're going in the bag for sure.
We're going to the Kingdom in a few weeks, and I'm going to tell them, convince me not to use the stealths. Like,
right?
What? You guys have to come up with some science, technology, results, numbers. You have to convince me not. Otherwise, I'm leaving with the stealth irons. I don't care what anybody says about me. I'm hitting greens. I'm hitting the ball a little bit further, a club further, 2 clubs further, whatever it is. And it's just easier. So you're going to have to convince me not to leave here with the stealth irons. Otherwise, that's what I'm doing, and I don't give a fuck.
And that's what it's all about. Hitting it further, hitting it better, more consistency, all that stuff. I know sometimes you get caught up in the machismo of hitting these these nice irons like Frankie described, these knives, these beautiful things. And the stealth irons are beautiful, by the way. They are immaculate.
Yep.
But sometimes people get caught up in that sort of that hype and all that. The goal at the end of the day is just to play better golf. And if the stealth irons are going to provide that, which I'm pretty damn sure that they are, that's what should go in your bag.
Yeah, I just got a live DM from a guy saying, "Hey, Frankie, loved the video last night. I don't think I've ever been more convinced to go get a fitting and try and buy the stealth driver than watching you hit worm burners for the first 5 minutes and then a 300-yard drive consistently for the final 5 minutes." It's so true to be able. If you watch that video on YouTube, you'll see the progress in all of us. Even with the 3-wood, the first couple swings were tough, and then everyone started flushing them. It's TaylorMade is doing stuff that you can't even comprehend, just like the James Webb's guys. TaylorMade is the NASA of golf exploration. They're trying new things and it's working. Tiger Woods saw this driver, said it's an amazing piece of technology and put it in his bag and used it in his first round back from. It was probably the most anticipated round in the last 10 years of golf, and he used a stealth driver. And
they finished second. They finished second. They almost won the whole thing.
All you need to know about this thing. And I'll tell you, we talked to every single pro there, and you said this already, Riggs. They all fucking loved it. Rory McIlroy's like, could you believe this thing? It's awesome. That is awesome.
It's awesome. It is awesome. So, yeah, go check it out. We got a lot more coming from that front. T-shirts. T-shirts are important. The way that T-shirts fit, incredibly important. The fit of the T-shirt, tighter around the arms and shoulders, designed specifically for a man's body. It's flattering for any body type. We all know that. We all like to look good. We talk a lot about when you come out in certain gear, attire, on camera, off camera, no matter what, you want it to look good. Things that fit the proper way are enormously different for your confidence and just the way that you're going to look than things that do not fit. We got to talk about True Classic tees. All right.
Oh,
True Classic. Yeah. You like that?
Whoa. Frankie? Wait a minute.
You like that?
Is this happening right? I love True Classic tees. Are we being serious right now? Are they a sponsor of this podcast now?
True Classic, baby. These are our guys. True Classic. It says do not call them True Classic tees. It says call them True Classics. We're going to talk True Classic right now.
True Classics are unbelievable t-shirts.
Frankie Brother is beside himself.
Bro, I have 7 different colors. You wouldn't believe how many True Classics I have.
Wow.
You wouldn't believe. They're the most comfortable shirts you'll ever wear. Ever. They're the best.
Sorry, it says on here specifically.
Tell the people about it.
Do not call them True Classics. It says True Classic. So we have to only call them.
Oh my God.
But I will say that your enthusiasm for True Classic, I think they're not going to care because I did not know that you love these shirts as much as you love them.
I have a True Classic on right now.
Okay,
I have a True Classic on
right now. You can see it. There it is. True Classic. There's the circle.
You're looking a little bit like you're kind of looking like Elio right now, trying to get your shirt going.
Look, you see the word True Classic?
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, we
It looks
can.
great.
Dude, I'm telling
Is it
you,
comfortable?
True Classic. Oh
Is it
my
comfortable?
God. And it's not just an undershirt. You could wear it out. It's got the form. It's got the strength to it, and it fits the arms for skinny guys. My gosh, I traveled long and hard across this country to find the right T-shirts for my pale, pathetic body. And I landed on True Classic, and I'm telling you, this is maybe the most exciting ad read I've ever heard.
I've never seen you this excited about anything.
Yeah.
I love True Classic. I love True Classic.
So you can go to trueclassic.com and get 20% off these awesome shirts that Frankie Borelli loves to death. Use promo code FOREPLAY. That's one word, FOREPLAY. Again, go to trueclassic.com and end your search for the perfect shirt like Frankie has. That's trueclassic.com. 20% off. Use the code FOREPLAY. They also do great philanthropic effort.
Philanthropic.
Philanthropic.
Sounds like
Thank
two guys
God
that
I-
play chess together in like New York City.
Thank God I got through that. That was tough. Their philanthropic efforts, True Classic donates 10,000 plus T-shirts a month to homeless veterans, shelters, schools, and communities in need. They've also helped build over 35 tiny homes for homeless veterans in Savannah, Georgia. So do yourself, do them, do all kinds of people a favor and go to trueclassic.com. Use the promo code FOREPLAY.
I think I spent $1,000 at True Classic. I cannot wait to have these as a sponsor.
Unreal. I didn't know that. I'm gonna go get a bunch. So we got some golf to talk about. We got predictions. So 2022 is the year of the Tiger, as everybody knows, as we've discussed at length. The major championship venues this year are phenomenal. I would say phenomenal. We have Augusta National, of course. Everybody knows that every year. Then we have for the PGA Championship, Southern Hills, which was recently redone by Gil Hanse. A lot of history down there in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Tiger Woods won the last time they had a major championship there, which was in 2007, the PGA Championship. I was there with my brother on Sunday, first time I've ever seen Tiger. It was incredible. And then the U.S. Open is in Boston, the Country Club TCC, Brookline. I actually used to play in the member guest there a bunch. One of my buddies from school was a member there, Willie, and I played in, they called it the Squirrels. And it was, I think 3 years in a row we played there. So I know that course pretty well. It's a classic old school U.S. Open course. They've done a bunch of renovations to try to make it, a little bit more modern. That's where Francis we met, had his victory in 1913. They had the U.S. Amateur there as like the 100-year anniversary of that in 2013, I believe. So a ton of history at Brookline. They had the 99 Ryder Cup there. That's where the putt was made on 17. Everybody went bananas. And then the old course at St. Andrews, everybody knows that one. Tiger Woods has won twice there in terms of major championships. So 2022 predictions, I think that to have a little bit of fun, I think we do this every year and then we just forget what we predicted. But we're going to go through the major championship venues and we're going to predict a winner. Who would like to begin?
I can start.
Okay. We gonna do all four, or are we gonna go tournament by tournament? You want to do all four?
Let's go tournament by tournament so people can really digest each tournament, what we think is going to be the winner.
Okay, I like it.
My first, what do you want to start with? Do you want to start with the Masters?
I think we
Yeah,
go in
let's start with the
chronological.
Masters.
So Tiger Woods, obviously, we want to talk about. For me, I don't even know if he's going to play in the thing. So I'm not even keeping. He's not in my discussion to win it. Unfortunately, this year, I've said many times I want him to win every tournament he plays in, every major for the rest of the world, for the rest of time. I just don't think it's realistic. If I'm going to make an actual decision, if I'm going to make an actual prediction, my gut is telling me to go with none other than Justin Thomas. Justin Thomas has one major win. He's got 14 wins on tour. The guy is an absolute weapon on the golf course, but he has to take that next step with majors. And I think he has to start this year in 2022. You think about Justin Thomas and you hear one major win, and that's a problem. I'm sorry, it is. He has to be able to win majors. He is a major winner. There's no doubt about it. He's always up there in the money rankings. He's always up there on PGA Tour wins. This guy has to start winning majors. He is a competitor. He is a winner.
He loves to win. He will win, and I think he starts at Augusta National. I can picture him wearing the jacket. I can picture him doing all the media after and talking about how this was his number one goal in life, is to win the fucking green jacket, and this is it. He's here to stay. He's going to be one of the greats of all time. Justin Thomas has that fire in him. He does. I'm telling you, I'm not just saying this because I like the guy, and I'm not just saying this because I picked him every single tournament last year. I'm telling you, he needs to fucking do it. He has to. It's time.
Trent?
I think that was good, Frankie. I thought that was I can also picture Justin Thomas in a green jacket. I think that's a big part of it. You can picture somebody wearing that thing. Justin Thomas is up there. I'm going with for the Masters. I'm going with Jordan Spieth. I know that he always plays well there. He's got great history there. He's also got not so great history there, as everyone knows. But we're sort of the Jordan Spieth comeback tour was a big topic of conversation last year. He started playing well, and I think at the Masters, every single year Jordan Spieth plays in the Masters, I think you got to give him a shot. I would love to see him fully emerge as the guy he sort of used to be at the Masters again and really start to roll the Jordan Spieth thing all the way back. So I'm going with Jordan Spieth. I really think it's hard to doubt a guy like that given his history there. And again, people can say that there's also another history there that would say that maybe he's got some nightmares there. But I'm going with the positive. I think Jordan Spieth, he's my pick for the Masters.
So a lot of us, all three of us are pretty much on the same or an extremely similar page here. I picked one of the two guys that you guys picked for a lot of the reasons. And I picked Jordan Spieth. And I do think we spoke a lot last year about Jordan Spieth. Is he back? Is he back? He was getting a little bit of the Tiger treatment of like, okay, he's contending in event after event, top 10. He got a win. Does that mean he's fully back? And I think a lot of people are like, he's fucking close. But no, that's not, because the Jordan Spieth that we know from 2015 won 2 major championships. He was 3 or 4 shots total away from winning all 4 major championships that year. The following year, he's got a 5-shot lead with a few holes to go at the Masters, ends up collapsing, not winning. But then still after that, he won that British Open with all kinds of crazy theatrics on the back nine against Matt Kuchar. Jordan Spieth will be Jordan Spieth again when he wins a major championship. I think that's going to come at the Masters. I think that's a tournament clearly that Jordan Spieth is going to win many times in his career. He won in dominant fashion there when he won the first time. The year before, he almost won against Bubba Watson when he basically was in high school still, it feels like. And so he's going to win the Masters tournament. And the final thing that really convinced me is when I did play in the member guest at Whisper Rock in April this last year, 2 weeks after the Masters tournament. Our final little matchup that we had on Friday was with Michael Greller and Jim Bones Mackay. Super nice guys. We sat down for about an hour afterwards, had a bite to eat and a drink. And Greller said during that conversation, man, that is a tournament that kid's going to win many, many times. And so his confidence, his belief in Jordan Spieth at the Masters tournament, combined with everything we're saying, Spieth is my pick. And then to jump right into the PGA Championship, Justin Thomas is my pick for the PGA Championship for pretty much all the reasons that Frankie Borelli said. Justin Thomas is going to win more than just one major. He has to. You can't have 14 wins on the PGA Tour, be as dominant in the Ryder Cup as he was, win a Players Championship, have the year where he had the 63 in the U.S. Open. He won a major that year, and he shot a 59 that year, so he can check as many boxes as you can. He's going to rack up more major championships. I don't really know why I picked kind of him to win the PGA out of all of them. I just think he's going to win a major this year. I absolutely think he's going to win a major this year. I want him to win a major. I think JT is awesome for golf. He's a really, really good dude. He's cool. He's tight with everybody from the Woods family to Michael Jordan to us to like other people in the golf media. He's just the man. So I think he's going to win at Southern Hills at the PGA Championship.
Trent?
You want me to go next?
I think we're doing, I like the thing we're doing here.
We're doing like a snake draft sort of deal?
Yeah, we kind of snake drafted it.
All right, so PGA for me, and honestly, it took every fiber of my being to not pick this guy to win all of them because I think he's set for a monster year and just a monster career in general. Colin Morikawa, PGA. I really did want to. You could have put him in every single slot on these 4 majors, and I would have been totally fine with it. He's just a stud. There's nobody that has, to me, in my personal opinion, that has a higher upside in golf than Colin Morikawa. He's just, and now that we've gotten a little closer with him. We see him every year at the TaylorMade Media Day. He's just got it. And he's got that psychotic side of him. Everyone sees the poster on interviews where he's very nice and he's stunningly good at, like, you know, talking about his life and what's going on and what he wants to accomplish. But then you get to, when we hang out with him, you see just how driven he actually is. And I think we've talked about it either on this podcast or just between all of us, where he's got that little bit of tiger in him, which is always a dangerous comparison to make because you don't ever want to say that. But he's got whatever Tiger has. He's got that drive. He's got that want. And I think he's going to win at least one major this year, and I would not be surprised to see at least one of them happen at the PGA.
So, took it right out of my mouth. That's my pick for the PGA at Southern Hills. Colin Morikawa, no doubt about it. You look back, Southern Hills, Oklahoma. Tiger Woods, 2007, won there. And, you do some research about the PGA Championship and at Southern Hills, and you know that you need a long iron. You need a really good long irons to be able to compete there at Southern Hills. Tiger Woods won 2007, one of the best iron players on the planet to ever live. Colin Morikawa, also probably the best long iron player on tour. His approaches into greens are fucking psychotic from long distances. We saw it up front. We saw him hitting greens at TaylorMade Media Day from 265 and up, and that video will be coming out also. Colin Morikawa just has the it factor. He is poised to win for sure. The last two winners at Oklahoma, Tiger Woods and then Retief Goosen. And the more you look into those guys, they're both great iron players. So a great iron player is going to have to win at Southern Hills. I'm picking Colin Morikawa for those reasons and those reasons only. And also, he's just got the killer instinct, man.
Yeah.
He's going to fucking murder you. And he's not going to stop until he wins. So if he doesn't win this one, he's going to win the next one. That's the type of person he is. And he may not show that, but when you talk to him and you really start to peel back the layers, you see that he is built from the same cloth as Tiger Woods. He is. There's certain guys that just have that fire in them, and I don't know how he got it. Tiger got his one way. I don't know how the hell Colin Morikawa has it. Maybe you're just born with it. Maybe it's just Maybelline. But it is what it is, and Colin Morikawa is my guy.
I wonder.
Yeah, in 2021, Colin Morikawa was number 1 in strokes gained on approach, so the best iron player in the world. In 2020, he was number 2, only to JT. In 2022, currently, he's second. They've only played a few tournaments, so He'll probably finish first overall.
It's just good to know if you're playing in a course where the experts and all these people that are doing predictions and they're trying to figure out what kind of game you're going to need at Southern Hills. They go back to Tiger Woods and Retief Goosen and they say, how did these guys attack this golf course? And it's with long iron play. I'm going to pick the best long iron player and the best approach player on the planet, and that's Colin Morikawa.
All right, Brookline, United States Open. I think it's going to be a classic U.S. Open. It's going to be really narrow fairways. It's going to be thick-ass, rough. What do we got?
So for the U.S. Open, I'm very excited for this. I really want to do a behind the greens there. I want to get all into the history of the greatest game ever played at the Country Club. This is where my guy, Francis,
right up your alley.
This is where my guy, Francis, we met, won the U.S. It was the U.S. Open, right? Because then he
it was U.S. Open, and he was a caddy there. He grew up on like the fucking. I think he literally grew up on the 17th hole. Their house was like on the 17th hole.
Yeah, he did. I just didn't know because I know he won the amateur also, so I didn't. But that got him into the U.S. Open. So yeah, I haven't seen that movie in forever, but it's still one of my favorite movies. Francis, we met. The whole history behind it, I love it. Brookline, Boston. There's gonna be a ton of stoolies there. I can't fucking wait. That's gonna be a great event. My winner may be a little bit of a shocker, but I think this guy's also poised for a great year. He's always in the mix. He's always in the conversation. And it's Viktor Hovland. He's had his best finish at the U.S. Open. That was in 2019. He was T12. He also tied that. So he was tied for his best. He also finished, I believe, in the Open T12. So Viktor Hovland is just in the mix all the time. He kind of has that mode where he gets into it and he's kind of smiling around and he's wincing and he's squinting and you think that he's not really all there like competitively, and then he just goes on these runs where you can't believe how fast he's shooting up the leaderboard. He has skill that you can't measure. He's just fucking unconscious sometimes, and I think he's poised to win a major. I really think that Viktor Hovland would be that guy. If I'm going to look in this long list of golfers, who's going to take that surprising jump to the major? I think it's Viktor Hovland at Brookline.
I like that pick a lot, actually. I think I would agree with you on all your points. Is it my turn?
It's your turn.
Yeah, you don't know. Do you know how snakes work?
I've kind of forgot. I forgot
You're
where
in the
we
middle,
were.
no matter which way we go.
Yeah, I get confused. So U.S. Open, Brookline. My pick is is a guy another one who we keep saying this, who I think is poised to have a really big year, he's going to take that major leap, and it's Patrick Cantley. I think he is. It's one of those things where it's again where you said, Frankie, where you can see Justin Thomas wearing the green jacket. I just feel like Patrick Cantley is a U.S. Open winner. I'm trying to think. I think last year he finished in the top 20 somewhere. That could be wrong. I don't have I didn't do a ton of research on this one, but Patrick Cantley to me just feels like a U.S. Open winner. He's got that. You just need. There's certain guys who are U.S. Open winners. You just have. It's a fucking hard golf tournament. Sometimes the USGA has been known to lose the golf course. If you ask Zach Johnson, but it's always just a really hard test of golf. And I think Patrick Cantley has that steely, has that metal to be a U.S. Open winner, and that's why I'm picking him. Who you calling, Riggs?
I'm in front of the.
Getting a delivery right now, so I'm trying to take this.
Oh.
Are we gonna? Do you want to? Oh no, he still has to give his pick. I was gonna say I could go on to the Open, but he's talking on mute right now.
He's on mute right now. I would definitely.
I like that. I like that pick though.
Yeah,
Patrick Cantley. Yeah, he's got he's got those crazy eyes to him, and yes, him at the Ryder Cup, he definitely showed that he is ready to jump into the world of I'm better than you, and I don't care who knows it. You know what I mean? There's that upper tier, that upper echelon of guys. And we always talk about the top.
I didn't know what to do there.
The
I don't know what to do.
That's
Guys
fine.
delivering
That's no
something,
problem.
Just like, I don't
It's
know
all
what
right.
to do.
That's no problem. But yeah, I like Patrick Cantley. Again, in this sport, this shitty sport that we watch, we're rooting for everyone. There's no wrong answer to me. I think when you make the points, it feels right? Like it feels like that's the right answer. But at the end of the day, we're going to root for whoever the fuck is in the end, whoever is holding up the fucking US Open trophy or the Claret Jug or wearing the green jacket. I don't know. How am I supposed to choose between a Colin Morikawa or a Patrick Cantley or this? I'm going to try and make the points, and that's who I'm going to bet on. But fuck, man, golf is so hard.
Oh, we talk about it every year, and whenever a tournament comes down to the wire, the margins are razor thin.
Yep.
A shot here, a shot there over the course of 4 days.
It's 4 strokes back, you got crushed, and it's one shot a day. It's nuts.
Right. So we're doing this because predictions are fun, and it'll be fun to look back on. Like, a couple of these guys could just miss the cut at these tournaments. But right now, Patrick Cantley, to me, in my bones, feels like the U.S. Open win.
I like it. Who do you got, Riggs?
I got Rory McIlroy. It's been 8 years, I believe, since Rory McIlroy has won a major championship. Much like Jordan Spieth, like Tiger Woods, we love comebacks. I love comebacks. I think Rory McIlroy has to go on another tear. We've been saying it for probably 5 years since we started doing this podcast. We've been saying this is going to be Rory McIlroy's time. He's finally going to break through again. He's going to become the Rory of old. We saw him win in the fall. We spent time with him, so hopefully we can claim that he got the foreplay bump in 2022 by finally opening up and spending time with the boys and letting us record some videos. Boom, he goes out and wins a major championship. I think he's definitely going to win one this year. I think U.S. Open sets up for Rory, and the fact that he hits it long and straight, one of the best drivers of the golf ball in history. His first major championship win was a U.S. Open, even though it was soaking wet at Congressional. He went out there and got the win. His last 3 starts in U.S. Opens, he finished tied for 7th, tied for 8th, tied for 9th. If you recall, he made a hell of a run at Torrey Pines before kind of running out of gas on the last 6 or 7 holes in the back 9 on Sunday. But I love Rory. He's always been one of our favorites. We watched him hit a ball preposterous distances right in front of our faces with the new TaylorMade Stealth driver with the cool red face, Carbonwood age. So I think you pair all that together. I think Brookline is destined for an iconic winner. I root for that place because it's got such cool history with Francis we met and all of that. Boston doesn't get enough golf love. There's phenomenal golf in Boston. So I want the city of Boston and Massachusetts and the country club to have like those pictures and that history of who won this U.S. Open there. I want them to have somebody like Rory McIlroy. So I'm rooting for Rory. That's my pick.
You don't have to tell. I want Rory to win again as bad as anybody. That would just, it would just inject a lot of life into a game that already has a lot of life right now.
Well,
But
you
Rory
didn't pick
winning,
him. You don't have to say it. You didn't pick him, so you can move on. You didn't pick your guy, so
I didn't. Maybe I love Rory though.
you didn't love him 10 minutes ago.
The old course at St. Andrews, I'm going with Tiger Woods. I think it's
Whoa.
It's a bold pick. I'm aware of that.
You're a bold man.
I think that the only thing in the world that could top what Tiger Woods did in 2019 when he won the Masters tournament, after everything that he had been through, after 11 years since winning a major, after dozens and dozens of journalists and blue checkmark losers counting him out, saying he would never win again, how emotional and cool that was. I think the only thing that could top that is him coming back and winning another major championship. And the only thing that could top that is him doing it at the oldest golf course on planet Earth, him doing it after the injury, after the leg, and the pictures juxtaposed of his car upside down and shredded and mangled, and then him crossing the Swilken Bridge with people formulating and jumping over the fucking the burn behind him as he comes up 18 with a red shirt and black pants, and Charlie's flown in for it. I think all of that, there's just no way I can't pick Tiger Woods. I understand that it's unlikely. The guy might not even start in the tournament, but he won there in 2000 by 8 shots. He won there in 2005 by 5 shots. He said many times over it's his favorite course in the world. So you bring all the history in and the claret jug. There's really no course outside of Augusta National. I think that on most people's minds is iconic in golf, with one exception, and that is the old course at St. Andrews. So you pack all that together, Tiger Woods is my pick. It's unlikely, I get that, but there's no way I can't pick Tiger at the old course. I have to.
I'm rock hard right now. I am rock hard.
You painted a hell of a picture there. That's we'd all sign up for that right now. That would be an incredible.
I'm as hard as the bridge.
Right. Man, that's a tough one to follow, I will say, because I when we started doing this, I thought there's no way that anybody's picking Tiger for any of these tournaments. As much as I wanted to, I was thinking there's no way.
I think if Tiger Woods wins at the old course, I think old Tom Morris comes down from heaven and just brings Tiger back up with him. I think they both float away into the clouds, and we never see Tiger again.
I figured it's unlikely that any of us are right in our picks anyway, so I'm going to go with Tiger, and if it happens, it's just something
awesome.
to dream about and think about. It's great.
Totally fair. All right. For my pick at the Open, I'm going with Colin Morikawa. I said I wanted to put him in all these places, but I'm putting him in 2 of them. And this one, on top of everything else that I said before about how great he is and how good his game is, I also think he's a historian, and he wants to win at a place like this. And he also wants people to know that his game can win anywhere. Like, he wants to win all different types of tournaments. Tiger's also like that, where it's like, doesn't matter where you put this guy, you put him on a patch of grass with a golf ball and a few clubs, he's going to be the best person out there. I think Colin wants that, and I think he absolutely wants that reputation at a place like the Old Course, and it starts this year, so I'm picking Colin Morikawa at the Open.
You're going back-to-back claret jugs for the Morikawa, man.
I am, yeah. I just, outside of Rory, this guy is just, he's got me... It makes my nipples hard thinking about him.
You're going 3 majors in like 1 calendar year for our guy Colin Morikawa. That would be a fucking monster season.
Would you be surprised?
No.
Nothing
not a calendar
would
year.
surprise me.
It's not a calendar year. What do they call that when it's like? Is it like like when you go from like the last? It would be like the last Open to this Open. Like, what kind of year would that be? It's not a calendar year. A calendar year is like 22.
It's not a calendar year, but within
a year, I guess. But I thought there was a name.
They might just call it within a year.
Okay, yeah. So you're saying that within a year he's going to win 3 majors.
Yeah.
I like that pick, man. Like, if you're going to pick a guy to do historic shit out of this group of guys, I think Colin Morikawa is a great bet. That's historic shit. My pick, and this is no surprise because he's the best golfer on the planet, it's Jon Rahm. Jon Rahm's going to go to St. Andrews and he's going to dominate. It's just as simple as that. That guy is ready to win the claret jug. He only has 1 major. Every fucking time this guy tees up a golf ball, he has a chance to win. And the fact that we haven't picked him, we've had 3 picks for 4 majors, and this is the first time someone says Jon Rahm's name. This guy is a problem no matter what tournament he's playing in. You look back at his history at the Open. He started in 2016 at Royal Troon. He finished T59. Next year, Royal Birkdale, T44. missed the cut at Carnoustie, probably wanted to kill somebody, behead them. I mean, think about that flight back from Carnoustie. 2019, he comes back after that beheading, after that bomb exploded, after he probably needed all new windows in his house. And he comes to Royal Port Rush in 2019 and finishes T11. And that's only because he finished on Sunday with a 75. Probably killed somebody after that. This guy's just gaining anger and confidence as he goes along. It's like a Pixar character where like he's just eating up all the bad times and all the good times, and he's getting bigger and stronger, and his monstrous body is getting bigger, and he's just overtaking the world. Then 2020 we didn't have one because of the war of COVID. We just didn't have a fucking Open. And then 2021 at Royal St. George's, he finishes T3. Should have won the fucking thing. So the reason I bring up his history is because he's progressing towards the top. He's been doing this his whole career. He's been around since 2016, but he's really on the scene in 2020, 2021, 2019. This guy is here to win. I can picture him holding up the claret jug. I can picture the fucking buildings behind him and him in like that nice dusk lighting of him just winning the fucking Open, and we're all going crazy that this guy's still the best golfer on the planet. Jon Rahm, no doubt about it. He is going to win the Open. Send it to me when it happens. I want to be right.
That's a good pick, but I was hoping we were going to go Jon Rahmless so people would freak out.
You can't go Jon Rahmless.
Nobody picked the best player in the world by a pretty wide margin, although Colin's right there. Like, I was hoping nobody would pick him, but again, it's a good pick because he's Jon fucking Rahm.
He's Jon Rahm, man. I mean, the guy is allergic to finishing outside the top 10 in majors. Allergic. It's crazy. We've read the breakdown of his majors finishes. The fact that he doesn't have 10 major wins at this point is insane. He's been 1 or 2 strokes off like 6 times. The guy he's unbelievable.
He's a problem. That guy's a problem.
He is.
He's a problem.
Trent, do you know who's next or no?
What?
Well, we're done.
We're done, right?
Okay, I was like, you threw me a curveball there.
Who would have?
I have a prediction. That the most common comment left on any of our graphics and social from these predictions will be way to go out on a limb there, which is one of the most preposterous things I ever hear and always drives me crazy because there's nothing that constitutes that you're supposed to go out on a limb. We're just trying to predict who's going to win the tournaments.
Correct. I mean, you also said Tiger Woods. I said Victor Hovland. I mean, Trent said that Morikawa is going to win 2 fucking majors this year. I think that's kind of on a limb.
And it's pretty crazy. Like, if you look last year, I mean, Hideki Matsuyama, Phil Mickelson, Jon Rahm, and Colin Morikawa. Like, you get a little bit of a mix of everything every time with these things. I came up with 3 or 4 names that I was like, once I came up with my own predictions before we did the show, that I was like, it was hard for me to leave them off the major list. And you guys covered every one of them. It was obviously Jon Rahm, really hard not to pick him. Colin Morikawa, incredibly hard for me not to pick him. Patrick Cantley was on my list, and Victor Hovland were on my list. Those were guys I had slotted in, and I had to take them out. So it does feel, like that's sort of the trend as these 8 names or so. Most of them are in the top 8 or 10, but yeah, I mean, it's also exciting because all those players I think are fun to watch, have cool storylines, are pretty young with the exception of Tiger Woods. So yeah, it's going to be a good major year.
People are going to probably say way to go out on a limb, but the chances are we go 0 for 12.
Yes. Pretty damn close to positive that we're going to go 0 for 12. Like I think it's
Absolutely.
Like a 95% chance we go 0 for 12.
Yeah. It's far better odds that we are going to go 0 for 12.
Because think about it. Let's say we pick the favorites or close to the favorites in most of these majors. Those are still, like 10 to 1, 12 to 1 pre-tournament, pre-majors. Like, they're not giving, it's not like it's maybe one guy would be like 5 to 1. So it's still not, it's not 1-1. It's not an obvious answer. It's not.
Right. I wonder if you took all the actual betting odds from the Barstool Sports book for every one of our picks, I wonder, and you put like $100 on every single one of them, I wonder what the actual plus minus would end up being afterwards.
Right.
Because unless it's just like plus, then everyone's an idiot that says way to go out on a limb. Like, there's probably no chance we would like, you know what I mean? I wonder if we could do that math. I wonder how hard that would be.
We have to contact some people at the sportsbook, see if we can figure that out.
Those people just see big names and think like, oh, good guess, but the chances are they're definitely not going to win the tournament.
I'll go out on the field, I'll go out on one limb. I'll go out on a limb. I'll say that our guy Harry Higgs is going to win a golf tournament this year.
Love
yes.
That's that a lot. I think that guy. I don't know if his brain can compute not winning one this year. I think his brain mind. Wait, I think his golf mind is way too expansive and way too dedicated to this sport to be able to just. He's gonna compete this year, man. He's going through swing things and swing changes, and him and his caddy, his brother. It's just the whole story behind it. He's progressing. He had a bad year. He had a good year. He doesn't know where he was at. He's ready to fucking compete. We saw it in his eyes. He talked to us for like 2 hours at the TaylorMade Media Day, and we just saw this guy's the real deal. He's got the mind of a fucking winner, and he's just got to put it out on the course, and I think he's going to do it. I think this is the year that Harry Higgs wins a fucking PGA tournament, and we all go crazy for him.
I love it. I've got a prediction. I'm going to say our guy Max Homa enters the top 10 in the official world golf rankings this year.
Okay.
Wow.
Where's he at right now?
He's currently 35th in the world.
Okay.
He's won twice, I believe, in the calendar year of 2021 because he won the at Riviera with Tiger Woods, and then he won fall event. And I just think he's going to do it. I think he's going to win a couple more times this year. His play is going to be that good that he will crack the top 10 in the official world golf rankings at some point this year.
Look at our guy Sam Burns in the top 10. I'm looking at the list right now. We love Sam Burns. I just didn't expect him to see him all the way up there.
What do we think about Scotty? What do we think about Scotty Scheffler this year? Had a great Ryder Cup.
Took down the number one player in the world. He's got that it factor also out there. Man, it's hard to not see Scotty Scheffler being in contention for a major this year also. That guy fucking stood on the putting green for 45 hours at the Ryder Cup to work on his game. Made us wait. I mean, Trent almost passed out waiting for this guy to stop practicing. I was so ready to leave. I wanted to leave so bad. I was just like, this guy is not in the mood to talk to 3 fucking podcast media idiots. He is at the Ryder Cup. He was on that putting green hour and a half, 2 hours. Honestly, we stood there forever. I'm glad we stayed because it was good to see him. But yeah, he's the guy who clearly wants it. He's number 13 in the world right now.
Yep. He'll get top 10 no problem this year.
I want the top 10 to be filled with our guys.
Yeah. Well, when we start golfing with guys like Rory McIlroy and all these guys, it's gonna be pretty easy. So
gets easier. Gets a lot easier.
Where do we think that Kevin Kisner's at in his life? I've been thinking about him recently. Like, he's 37 years old. You know, probably not his favorite year of finishes, right, for Kevin Kisner. I mean, at the end of
got a win.
He did get a win. I'm just saying we know Kisner. Like, I wonder where he sees his career right now. Is he's obviously rounding third base, or like where does he see himself? Right, like where are his expectations going into this year? I'd love to know. Has it changed since we talked to him in that historic phone call of what was that 2018, 2019 when we talked to him about what he thought his finishes were going to be? Like, has he gotten worse? Does he like his game? I'd love to talk to Kiz again before the season.
I have no inside information, but I just feel like he's got to be pretty happy overall, I would imagine. He's just like a rich, really good golfer coming off a year where he won.
But he hates when he doesn't do well, though.
I know. Everybody, I know what you mean, but like and I don't know if he would be able to look at it this way, but if you zoom out a little bit, he's 37. That's really not that old, especially for a golfer. And he's, like I said, coming off a win. He's made a ton of money. People love him. The internet loves him. I would hope that he's in a good place because I think he's doing pretty well for himself.
Oh, there's no one in a better actual mindset than Kevin Kisner on the planet. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying attacking this upcoming season. It's like a baseball player where he's like, fuck, I don't know if I'm going to hit 300 this year. I don't know if I have that in me anymore. Is Kisner at that level yet, or does he still have that fire?
No, he's got the fire, man. I think he's very much got the fire. I think the Ryder Cup stuff fires him up. I really do. I think he takes a lot of that stuff like personally, not in a negative way towards anybody on the team, but I think he wants to be like respected. He knows he can win tournaments out there against the best players in the world. He had chances like those couple years ago, man, at the British Open and at the PGA Championship. He had multiple legitimate chances to win major championships.
Yeah.
Those were only a couple years ago. He's at the Tournament of Champions this week. So yeah, there's always the funny kids mindset of like, I'm here to collect a paycheck. I can finish 20th and make, $1 million, and it's great. But I think it does fire him up. I think, too, I mean, he's got another, in his mind, probably another like 5-6 years where like he can make a real push and really get out there and try to win some big events. I think that's what drives him. So, yeah, I think he's still into it. I think he's a prideful motherfucker. I mean, we've heard him. He chirps as hard as anybody. He's got that, that little chip on his shoulder. He's an athlete, right? Like he fucking loves Georgia and football and sports, and him being like a top level, golfer in the world, being able to compete with these people. I think that's going to drive him for a while. He works hard on his body. Like he's down with JT a lot, grinding on his swing. So I think that fire's still there for kids for sure. But yeah, I mean, he's got a couple young kids, it's like, imagine it's that definitely factors in, and it always will. So I wouldn't even be surprised, right? Like Kiz could be I see Kiz as an iconic Champions Tour player someday. Like I feel like he could go out there in his 50 to 55 and just keep raking in money like a Jim Furyk or something. I feel like he would love that shit.
He's already he's a cult hero. Like the exposure he's got on this podcast, like he's big. Like I feel like the mainstream, like I don't know if my mom knows who he is because of me, but like people know who he is in like a very cool way. I don't know how to describe it, but like he's obviously a great golfer, one of the top in the world, but he's also this figure in the golf world that is a very cool thing. And I wonder if he probably likes that, I would imagine, but it's just, he's a different type of cult hero in my eyes.
Yeah, totally. And you say 37 is not old, but golf is fucking strenuous, man. That schedule is insane. You look at these other sports, and when these guys are starting to get 37, 30, 39, obviously coming to the end of their careers, it's amazing that we think of golf as like, oh, he'll play until he's 50. He'll play like Phil Mickelson. He'll play until he's 55, 60. They'll just keep playing. Bro, these guys play. They show up to, we've talked to Pat Perez about it, I've talked to all these guys. It's a fucking grind week after week, showing up on Monday, practice round Tuesday, Pro-Am Wednesday. They show out on Thursday, and then they have 4 days of competition, and then like you're flying all over the place. I think Colin Morikawa in one interview, maybe it was with me, where he was like, I think I had like 20 days off this year, where it's just, you never stop. There's no days off. And you think of any other athlete, hockey. I mean, when you're a 37, 38-year-old hockey player, you're like, I've got 1 year left maybe of doing this fucking shit. I got 3 kids at home, my wife at home. I'm done. Like I've given everything to the sport. It's amazing we think of golf as like, oh, they'll play forever. They'll just keep doing it, which then makes it even more amazing what Tiger Woods is doing with all the stuff he's been through, and just like he could just easily give up. A Kizzer could just give up, and his life is done, set, perfect. Never has to work a day in his life. His kids never have to work a day in his life. He's fucking happy as shit. But he's gonna go out there and he's gonna grind for like 10 more years and just try and win fucking tournaments. It's amazing. Golf really is amazing in that aspect.
Yeah, and not everybody has that forever, right? Like you're right, Frankie, in that, I don't know that kids will want to have a Colin Morikawa-like schedule and only have 20 days off. Like, in fact, I know he doesn't. Like, he wants to go hunting and fishing and hang out with his kids and drink beers and, like, not have to focus 100% on, being as healthy as he can, being as in shape as he can, flying from this venue to that venue, seeing the course, like, putting up Dewey. Like, that is an absolute grind. And if at some point, I can't blame anybody for just being like, you know what? I don't want to grind that fucking hard. So, yeah, I'd be curious. I mean, I imagine we'll just get him on the show and fucking talk to him, but I'd be curious his thoughts on that. And like, he also could go into media and have a great media career, whether it's with us or whether it's on one of the, a golf broadcast or whatever. So he's going to have a ton of options, which is cool, but he's also 37. We're talking about him like he's 50 occasionally. So it is weird where it's like, he could in his own mindset be like, yeah, I got a couple more years left and I'm out of here. Or he could be like, I'm going to play golf for another 15 years at a competitive level. It's really like up to him, which is what makes golf really cool.
Yeah.
Rory Macros put up an Instagram video of him saying, saw everyone else talking about the new Stealth driver, and I thought I'd give it a try. I think I'll keep it in the bag for the season. And it's just him roasting a driver down the middle.
I saw that while one of you was speaking. I pulled that up on Instagram, and I almost came myself watching it.
Oh, my God. It's so good.
It made me want to go to the driving range so badly and stand far away from the ball like he does and just rip at it with the driver.
Speaking of coming.
Okay.
I came hard last night because of Makar. Did you guys? This is a hockey podcast. Trent, have you seen this? You had to have seen this on the Twitter sphere.
Yeah, where he does he stops and he goes
the spinorama.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen anything like that? Have you ever seen a sport move more beautiful than that? And then the finish to tuck it top titty right there over fucking Marc-Andre Fleury's fucking shoulder. Trent, what did you think of that as not a hockey guy?
Well, getting the sense from the podcast right now, I feel like I'm not appreciating it appropriately. I thought it was a good clip. I thought it was great, but I feel like when you're talking top titty and all that, you're speaking a different language. It was a sweet move for sure.
He's on ice skates, man. He's on fucking blades of steel, and he's whipping himself around like that. Did you see the snow he produced from that fucking stop? I mean, he sent – who was that? DeBrincat? Who did he send? Whoever he sent –
Kirby Doc.
Kirby Doc. He sent Kirby Doc past – the James Webb Telescope. He is now floating somewhere in another stratosphere of our galaxy. He's never to be seen again. Kirby Doc is never to be seen again. In overtime, 3-on-3, you let that guy do that to you? Are you fucking insane? It's one of the best moves. It was one of the best in-game moves I've ever seen.
It was incredible. What I really enjoyed most about it as a St. Louis Blues fan, just watching the Blackhawks look pathetic was fantastic.
Yes.
77 Kirby, he skated through the boards and didn't even realize that the car was just gone. And then was it Fleury that was in net for that?
Yeah.
Fleury, I mean, he put a little juke on Fleury. Fleury slid to the other side of the zone and he just short side top tittied him. And I took so much pride and enjoyment in watching the Blackhawks get embarrassed like that. I love the Colorado Avalanche. Obviously, it's tough because they're up against the Blues all the time, and that's going to have to be a battle we're going to have forever. But outside of the Blues, I always loved that the Avalanche. I liked that they were the Colorado Avalanche. I liked their jerseys originally when they went, whatever it was, 96 when they moved from Quebec. So I've always liked the Avs. And then when Taser went there a couple years ago, I always like talking to him about the Avs, so I root for the Avs. So watching them embarrass the Chicago Blackhawks, that clip was awesome. And that's so hard to do, to spin like that quickly against an NHL player and leave him in the dust. That's unheard of.
And the handles for a defenseman are psychotic. So, I mean, they've got quite the team over there. Devon Toews. I heard Devon Toews is ruthless to you via Twitter, via text, when the Blues lose to the Avalanche. He's mean to you. He sends them to me all the time. I'm like, I can't believe he does this.
Yeah, he's mean to me. He's mean to me. And when I tweet about anything Avalanche related and it doesn't work out in my way, he just buries me and then texts me about it. So
the Avalanche will beat the Blues
nice
and he'll
guy,
be like,
though.
The Avalanche will beat the Blues and he'll text Riggs and be like, "You're pathetic." It's just it's unbelievable. It's like Riggs is the first person he thinks of post-win against the Blues, which is amazing.
Dude, he sent one time when they beat the Blues, he sent me a Tiger Woods gif right after the game of Tiger fist pumping after they won. That was he was in the locker room still. I think he still had his fucking cup on his dick and he sent me that gif of Tiger winning. But he's such a nice guy that he'll do this, chirp me. I don't just cave. I chirp him back. And then it always comes full circle to him being like, Riggs, I really hope you and your family are doing really well. How is your little nephew? And I'm like, fuck you. But he's really good. He's cute. Thank you for asking.
Dude, he's the man. He's the man. I miss that fucking guy on the Islanders, dude. And the team misses him too. It's crazy. He's such a good talent.
He likes my tweets sometimes. That's the extent of my relationship with him.
He loves Trent Daddy. Dude, the whole NHL loves Trent Daddy. I got to get Trent Daddy to another Islander game. It was amazing when they were all looking at him sitting there in the first row. They were starstruck. It was like Spike Lee at a Knick game. Trent Daddy was on the glass, and they were all there was murmurs on the bench about Trent being in the building.
I'll go to a game whenever you want to go to a game. I had a lot of fun when we went.
All right.
I also have to say that the Blues, I know the Rangers are getting a lot of traction for being a wagon and all that. I mean, St. Louis Blues might be the best team in the NHL. They're phenomenal. They won the Cup, obviously, 2 years ago. I think it was Rick Tocchet who just said recently, Anybody who's not paying attention to the St. Louis Blues as a Stanley Cup winning team this year is just not paying attention to hockey. They're built for a 7-game series. I think that's correct. So as a Blues fan, they're 7-1-2 in their last 10. Could not be more excited about the St. Louis Blues right now.
Hockey's tough right now. The Islanders haven't played in like a month. It's getting crazy. All these games are getting canceled. They were the guinea pigs of the COVID era of 2021. They had to play 6 games with 6 players out. They lost all of those, and now they're suspending games. So it's a real nightmare. But with the full roster, the non-COVID affected Islanders, they're the same team they were last year, man. If you're really looking closely, 9 points in 9 of the last 11. They've won like 4 in a row at home. They are just playing that boring quote unquote hockey where they're just pummeling guys in the fucking offensive zone and just wheeling it around the offensive zone, not getting any shots on net, just tiring out the defense, finding a way to squeak by 1 or 2, and they're winning games. So yeah, I mean, the Rangers are a problem. For my whole life, I've always said that I think I like watching the Rangers lose more than I like watching the Islanders win. So to see them have some success is scary. I will say that they're like 17-0 against lottery pick teams. So maybe when it comes down to like when they play actual competitive games, it's going to be a little bit different than them winning every single night. But I'm not going to take anything away from them. They're playing well, and welcome to the league. It's been like 5 years that the Rangers haven't been involved in this NHL season, so it's nice to see them back. And sure, they're just staying healthy. It hasn't become a who's better than who. It's become a who can stay healthy compared to who. That's what it's become. So
okay,
we turned the mics off 5 minutes ago.
Yeah. Yeah,
like this is like I felt like a peek into your room like at night when we don't record. Like you're just like, yeah, welcome to the fucking league, Rangers. God, you haven't been good in 5 years. You're just like talking to nobody. It's just like
injury competition right now. It's just an injury competition. It's not even, they're not even really.
At one point, you stopped looking at the camera and you were just looking off. And I really think Riggs and I could have left and nothing would have changed.
It's like we used to do a show with cousin Mike and Murray.
Oh yeah,
they would do.
Just one question and then you just log off.
I used to love doing that on the Barstool radio show when I was a producer for Dave. And we used to do, Riggs was the host too. We used to, when cousin Mike would go on rants, we'd just go to commercial for 2.5 minutes and we'd come back and he'd still be talking. And as a listener of that, it had to be so fucking funny and unique. We were talking about that in Arizona, just how good that radio show was, how different it is. Like, all the cast of characters on Barstool Radio, that original one back in the old office where it was just 12-2 and everyone was on high alert in the office. Who's going to get called in? What kind of drama do we have? Is it Smitty versus Nate? Is it office manager Brett versus Dave? Is it? Who's going to get it today? And then all these fights with Rico Bosco calling in. No one knew what his face looked like. No one knew who he was. And you'd play his music whenever he thought he'd be wronged. And then something about Larry King would come up. And then all of a sudden I'd take the phone call inside the producer's room, and it would be Mike Portnoy, and I'd just hit the Law and Order music, and then mid conversation Dave would just be talking and you hear dum 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 dum, and Dave just goes, "My dad's on the line." Like it was such a unique show where music played a role into who entered the room. I used to take such pride in that, where you have to without visually showing what's happening, because it's a radio show, I had to figure out a way to make people know what was going on outside the office, and that was by playing music associated with that person's personality, and we had so much fucking fun with it. Oh
boy,
my God. I
as an outsider of that, like that show, that original show, it was from 12-2. You had to be focused on Twitter. You had to be focused on what's going on in the office. And you just had to get to 2 p.m. If you could get to 2 p.m., you'd be fine.
Yeah.
But if you did not make it through 2 p.m., that rest of your day, all the way up until basically noon the next day, when hopefully somebody else would get dragged, you were fucking miserable. You just had a pit in your stomach. You get in those crosshairs. It was awful.
Frankie was the Grim Reaper. He'd come out to the blogger area and be like, "Hey, Smitty, can you jump in the radio room for a second?"
Yeah.
And it's just like, God damn, anytime, whose ever name it was, like Riggs is saying, you would be like thankful that it wasn't you. But at some point, it's going to be you, and you just go in there, and Frankie's like, "Hey, Trent, could you just hop in there really quick?" And you're just like,
and it got to the point where I'd
it.
just come out and I would smirk at you. I'd like laugh and be like, "Dude, I got to bring you in here." And you like people under their breath would be like, "Motherfucker, Frankie, you fucking piece of shit. Just don't fucking even look at me."
Yep.
And I remember I used to walk out and Nate goes, "Go back in your room." He'd see me like meander out. He'd be like, "Go back. I don't want to be brought in."
He's also the one guy who would say no. He'd be like, no, I'm not going in there.
Oh, yeah, and I'd go back and say, Dave, Nate's not coming in. He goes, you tell Nate he has 2 seconds to come to this room. And he'd fucking mosey on in there and be like, what?
The best. So good.
Man, I miss
all
that
right,
shit.
boys. We got a little bit of island golf this weekend. Tournament of Champions. Pretty much they go out, they collect a paycheck, they play a beautiful golf course. Always fun to watch because around the country it's called middle of winter, January, post-holiday gloom, all that. And you get a little PGA Tour golf for the first time. I saw Patrick Cantley hasn't played tournament golf in like over 100 days. I think Rahm hasn't played since the Ryder Cup, I believe. He hasn't played either. So it'd be nice to see some of those big names out there playing again. We'll be back on Tuesday. We got more videos from Bana Dunes, from TaylorMade Golf, all that stuff we're going to be rolling out in the next few weeks, next few months. So a lot to look forward to. I think that's all I have. You guys have anything else?
I've got a couple. Well, first, to that point of guys not playing, Dylan DeChair tweeted out the other day, Bryson DeChambeau, Patrick Cantlay, Daniel Berger made a combined 0 PGA Tour starts in the entire fall. And then Rahm, DJ, Spieth, and Phil Mickelson had 1 each. So we do talk about like these guys not having off, but they definitely do take their spots. Some guys more than others, obviously. Like you didn't see Morikawa on that list or whatever. But at the end of the day, like these guys are ready to rock now. It's truly the beginning of the season, and it's going to be fun to watch them tee it up because you haven't seen these guys in months, which is fun. Aside from that, I do want to say about YouTube, well, I want everyone to subscribe to the YouTube page and then also to this podcast, unsubscribe, resubscribe, leave 5-star reviews. We've seen that does a massive improvement in our rankings and all this stuff, and we know that other shows do this, so let's just do it for ourselves. Go leave a 5-star review, say something nice to filter out all the fucking psychopaths on there that just want us to die and kill ourselves. And then YouTube, Trent and I, and then we're going to try and get more people in the mix. Riggsy can maybe try and get his Xbox set up. We're going to do that hole-in-one challenge, man. And we're gonna figure that out hopefully within this week, or I don't know when, but I want to do it soon. So keep an eye out for that. We're going to try and make a hole-in-one, and then we're going to donate all the money that gets donated in that crazy super chat on YouTube to the First Tee program. So try and raise a lot of money for the First Tee, and then try and make a hole-in-one. Last time it took 16 hours.
Oh,
Great. Sounds like good. Well, if you get 1 or 2 more people in the mix, hopefully cut that time.
That's
by
true.
A third.
That's true. And I'll know it's coming. Last time we did it, Frankie just he sandbagged me and he made me do it for longer than I thought.
We were 4 hours in, and I just tweeted out, "We're going all night," and Trent was like, "I'm not prepared for that."
I think you said like if we get 2,000 likes on this video, or whatever, and we were like 1,500 off, and I was like, "There's no way this is happening." And then I think Dan Katz got involved. I think Kevin Clancy got involved. I think some of the heavier guns got involved, and it happened in a millisecond, and that was a long night. But I'm gonna know that it's coming this time. I'll get the rest that I need, and it's gonna be a good time. I don't think it'll take as long as time, but we'll see.
No.
Well, everybody enjoy the golf this weekend. We'll be back next week. Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.